aliens disclosure. UFO 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 aliens disclosure. Let's go.
Hey everyone, excited for this deep dive. This one goes out to all of you who requested a deep dive into alien races. It's a topic that we get requested a lot, and we're finally tackling. We've been going through just a ton of material. There are so many sources on this topic, articles, encyclopedia entries, you name it. We even found some fascinating accounts on TikTok. Yeah, I'm talking viral videos claiming alien encounters. And to top it off, we're even going to be looking at some recent whistleblower testimony that has been all over the news.
Yeah, it really is amazing the sheer volume of information that's out there, from, these sort of like ancient myths and legends to these like modern day accounts and everything in between. What I find really interesting is how, even though these sources are so diverse, there are these common themes that emerge. Like, we're not just talking about generic little green men here, right? We're talking about distinct races with unique characteristics and even backstories.
Okay, so backstories. You're really piquing my curiosity now. So, I mean, where do we even start? I think most people have heard of, the classic Greys or maybe even Reptilians, but you mentioned backstory, so I'm guessing there's a lot more to it than just those two.
Oh, absolutely. The Greys and Reptilians, they're like the A-listers of the alien world. Sure. But there are so many others. You've got the Nordics, the Tall Whites, the Arcturians, the Pleiadians. It's a whole cosmic cast of characters.
Tall Whites. Okay, now you're just messing with me. I've never even heard of those. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's start with the basics. Can you give us a quick rundown of the more well-known alien races? The Greys, the Reptilians, Nordics, kind of like a who's who in this cosmic lineup.
Sure, so let's start with the Greys, right? Because they're probably the most iconic alien image, at least in popular culture.
Yeah.
The large heads, the big black eyes, the small, slender bodies. They're often associated with abductions and medical experimentation, that sort of thing.
Right, the classic alien abduction scenario. It's almost a trope at this point.
Exactly. Then you have the Reptilians. They're often depicted as humanoid, but with, as the name suggests, reptilian features. Scales, slitted eyes, that kind of thing. They tend to get linked with, all sorts of conspiracy theories about, secret societies and control over governments.
Okay, yeah, I've definitely seen those theories floating around online. They're the ultimate puppet masters, pulling the strings from the shadows.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have the Nordics, who are pretty much the opposite of the Reptilians in terms of how they're portrayed. They're typically described as tall and slender, with blonde hair and blue eyes, almost like angelic beings. Some people believe they're here to help humanity evolve, to guide us towards a more enlightened future.
So it's like we've got the brainy scientists, the shadowy conspirators, and the wise mentors.
Yeah.
It's like a cosmic drama unfolding right before our eyes.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting to me is how these classic alien archetypes are getting a 21st century makeover thanks to social media, specifically TikTok. I mean, it's like alien encounters have gone viral.
It's true. Platforms like TikTok have totally changed the game when it comes to sharing these stories and experiences. You've got accounts like at OpenMind234 and at Scary.vibe who are racking up millions of views with their posts about alien encounters and all things paranormal.
Yeah, I've seen some of those videos. They're definitely attention-grabbing, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, it's really democratized the discussion in a way that we haven't seen before, right? Anyone with a smartphone can share their experiences, or at least their interpretations of them, with the world. And it's fascinating to see how these narratives are spreading and evolving in real time.
Absolutely. And it's not just text posts and blurry photos anymore. I'm talking full-on videos claiming to show UFOs, strange creatures. Some of this stuff is, it's pretty compelling, even if it's a little creepy.
Yeah, there have been a few videos making the rounds that have really captured people's imaginations. One that comes to mind is this video that supposedly shows a disc-shaped object hovering over a field. The person who uploaded it is convinced it's a scout ship belonging to the Greys. Another one shows this shadowy figure darting through a forest at night, which has led to a lot of speculation about reptilians.
Okay, now those are the videos that make you want to sleep with the lights on. But as intriguing as these videos are, how do we know what's real and what's, someone having a bit of fun with video editing software?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, with technology these days, it's getting harder and harder to tell what's genuine and what's been manipulated. We have to approach these videos with a healthy dose of skepticism, looking for possible explanations like misidentified aircraft, weather phenomena, hoaxes, even clever editing. It's easy to jump to conclusions, especially when these images align with, our existing beliefs or anxieties.
So it's like a cosmic game of fact or fiction, and the lines are getting blurrier all the time.
Yeah.
But even if we can't say for certain whether these videos are real, they do raise some interesting questions, like why are so many people claiming to see these things? Why now?
That's a great point. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is it a genuine increase in these unexplained phenomena? Or is it a byproduct of our hyper-connected world where these stories can spread like wildfire and gain momentum through social media?
It's like our collective fascination with aliens has reached a fever pitch, and TikTok is the megaphone amplifying it all. But before we get too deep into the world of viral videos, let's switch gears to something a bit more official, shall we? I'm talking about whistleblowers, people who claim to have inside knowledge about government involvement with aliens.
That's a perfect transition, because one of the most famous whistleblowers in the UFO community is Bob Lazar. He's been a controversial figure for decades, ever since he came forward with claims of working at Area 51, reverse engineering alien technology.
Right, Bob Lazar, the original Area 51 insider. His story has been debated endlessly, but it's definitely one of the most well-known accounts out there.
And he didn't just talk about the technology, right? He provided detailed descriptions of the crafts he allegedly saw, even shared insights into the biology and behavior of the Greys he supposedly encountered.
So he claims to have actually met these Greys face-to-face. That's pretty wild.
That's what he claims, yeah. And his descriptions have been incredibly influential, shaping a lot of the imagery and ideas we have about the Greys today. But whether or not you believe his story, it's undeniably one of the most significant whistleblower accounts in UFO history.
Absolutely. And now we've got a new whistleblower on the scene, David Grush. His recent testimony before Congress really added fuel to the fire, didn't it?
Grush's testimony has definitely reignited the debate about government involvement with UFOs. What makes his claims so significant is that he alleges the government possesses not just crashed alien vehicles, but also the remains of what he calls non-human biologics recovered from these crash sites.
Non-human biologics, that sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. So he's basically saying the government has recovered alien bodies.
That's the implication, yeah. And it suggests a level of government involvement that goes way beyond simply observing UFOs, right? It's getting into the realm of, potentially studying and maybe even exploiting alien technology and biology.
Wow, okay, now we're talking interstellar espionage.
Yeah.
But hold on, before we start envisioning a top-secret alien tech lab, there's another layer to this whole government secrecy thing that's even wilder. I'm talking about those rumors of, wait for it, interspecies treaties.
Yeah, the idea that governments might have made deals with certain extraterrestrial races, exchanging something, resources, technology, who knows what, for something in return. It's a concept that's been explored in science fiction for years, but to think it could be happening in reality, well, it's pretty mind-blowing.
It really is. And often these alleged treaties involve the Greys, those mysterious beings who are already linked to abductions and experiments. It makes you wonder, what could they possibly want from us?
That's where it gets really interesting, right? Some theories suggest the Greys might be seeking genetic material to help their own species, which is supposedly facing some kind of decline. Others propose they're after our planet's resources, or maybe they see humans as a source of knowledge or labor. Who knows, maybe it's a bit of everything.
Okay, now that's getting a little too close to Invasion of the Body Snatchers territory, for my liking. But even if these treaty rumors are just that, rumors, it does speak to something much deeper, don't you think?
I think it definitely does. It highlights our anxieties about the unknown, our fear of being manipulated or exploited by forces beyond our control, especially forces that might be far more advanced than us.
And it raises questions about the motives of these alleged alien races. Are they benevolent observers, scientific explorers, or something more sinister? I guess that's what we'll be diving into next.
Yeah, it's a question that's been around forever, right? Like, what do these aliens want? Are they just curious? Do they need something from us? Or is it something we can't even imagine?
It's like we're trying to figure out the intentions of an ant colony, We're just on completely different levels.
Right, exactly. But even though we can't get inside their heads, we can look at what people are reporting and the theories that have emerged. So far, we've talked about appearances, government secrecy, even those wild interspecies treaty rumors.
Yeah.
But what about their abilities? Some of the stuff people describe as straight out of science fiction.
Okay, yeah, the ability. Now we're getting to the good stuff. So what kind of superpowers are we talking about here?
Well, one that comes up a lot, especially with the Greys and Nordics, is telepathy. The idea that they can communicate mentally without needing to speak.
Telepathy. Really? I mean, that's like next level communication.
Yeah.
But is there any science behind that? Or is it just like pure fantasy?
It's definitely something that's been debated for a long time. We haven't scientifically proven telepathy, but there are some theories in quantum physics, like quantum entanglement, that suggest information could be transmitted instantaneously across vast distances.
Okay, so maybe it's not as far-fetched as it sounds. Quantum physics is pretty mind-bending stuff. But telepathy seems almost, I don't know, peaceful. Then you have those abilities that are a bit more, shall we say, unsettling, like the mind control that's often attributed to the reptilians.
Yeah, the reptilians definitely get a bad rap. The idea that they can influence our thoughts and actions, it's a pretty scary thought.
It's like something out of a nightmare, right?
Yeah.
They have your mind controlled by some reptilian overlord.
Exactly. But it is interesting to consider how this idea of alien mind control might actually reflect real-world psychological phenomena. Like, we know humans are susceptible to suggestion, manipulation, even mass hysteria. So could some of these alleged encounters be explained by, heightened states of suggestibility or even psychological manipulation?
That's an interesting point. Like those stage hypnotists who can make people do the craziest things. Maybe some of these alien races have just mastered a form of mental manipulation that we're not even aware of.
It's definitely a possibility. But let's shift gears for a moment. Not all alien races are portrayed as, manipulative or scary. Some, like the Arcturians, are associated with healing and spiritual advancement. It's almost like they're these cosmic therapists guiding us towards enlightenment.
Okay, now that's an alien race I could get behind. Who doesn't need a little cosmic therapy these days?
Yeah.
But seriously, this idea of benevolent extraterrestrials guiding humanity, it's a pretty common theme, isn't it?
It is, especially with the Arcturians and the Pleiadians. They're often depicted as wise, compassionate beings who want to help us evolve both spiritually and technologically. And it kind of ties into that whole starseed concept that's been trending lately.
Oh yeah, the starseeds, I've seen that all over TikTok. People believing their souls reincarnated from other planets, especially the Pleiades and Arcturus. It's like the new astrology.
It's fascinating, right? This idea that we might have these deep connections to other worlds and other beings. It speaks to a yearning for something beyond our everyday lives, a sense of belonging to something bigger than ourselves.
It's like we're looking to the stars for answers, for a sense of purpose in a world that can feel pretty chaotic and overwhelming at times. But okay, enough about the touchy-feely stuff. Let's get back to the tech. I mean, if these aliens are zipping around the galaxy, they got to have some seriously advanced technology, right?
Oh, absolutely. We're talking about things that are light years ahead of anything we can even imagine. Faster than light travel, zero-point energy, the ability to manipulate space and time. It's mind-boggling.
Okay, hold on. Zero-point energy. That sounds like something straight out of a physics textbook. Can you break that down for us non-scientists?
So zero-point energy is this theoretical concept in quantum mechanics. It suggests that even in a perfect vacuum, at the lowest possible temperature, there's still this residual amount of energy present. And some physicists believe that this energy could be harnessed as like a limitless power source.
A limitless power source. Wow, that would solve a lot of problems here on Earth. But even with limitless energy, how are they getting here in the first place? I mean, the distances between stars are just astronomical.
Yeah, the vastness of space is one of the biggest challenges to the idea of extraterrestrial visitation. Even traveling at the speed of light, it would take years, centuries even, to reach the nearest star systems. This is where those theoretical concepts like warp drives or wormholes come into play.
Warp drives and wormholes. Okay, now we're really getting into sci-fi territory. But it's these wild possibilities that make this topic so fascinating, right? It's like we're stretching our imaginations to the limit, trying to wrap our heads around things that seem almost impossible.
And who knows, maybe someday those seemingly impossible things will become scientific realities. I mean, think about it. Smartphones, the internet, space travel, all of these things were once considered pure science fiction.
It's true. What was once unimaginable often becomes commonplace. So maybe someday we will crack the code of interstellar travel or tap into zero-point energy. It's exciting to think about.
It is. But it might require a fundamental shift in our understanding of physics and the very nature of reality. And maybe just maybe, these encounters with alien races, these glimpses into what might be possible, are pushing us towards that shift.
It's like we're on the verge of something truly groundbreaking, a new era of discovery and exploration. And it's all thanks to these mysterious beings from beyond our world.
It's a thrilling prospect. But as we venture further into this unknown territory, it's important to remember to approach it with both a sense of wonder and a healthy dose of skepticism. There's still so much we don't know.
Absolutely. It's about finding that balance between excitement and critical thinking, questioning everything and being open to new possibilities, even if they challenge our current understanding of the universe. Which actually leads us perfectly into our next topic.
Yeah, it's like we've been talking about all these mind-blowing possibilities, right? But we gotta acknowledge the elephant in the room, or should I say the skeptic in the spaceship. There are plenty of people out there who are saying, hold on a minute, where's the proof? You're absolutely right. Skepticism is a crucial part of any scientific process, and when it comes to something as extraordinary as alien races, it's even more important to approach these claims with a healthy dose of critical thinking.
Right. I mean, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And for the people who are demanding that evidence, the ones who want to see spaceships landing on the White House lawn or alien autopsies on YouTube, what do you say to them? Where's that smoking gun that proves these alien races are real?
Well, that's the challenge, isn't it? The lack of irrefutable, publicly available evidence is one of the biggest hurdles for those who believe in extraterrestrial visitation. We have tons of reports, sightings, even some leaked documents, but none of them have been definitively proven to be of alien origin.
So it's like we're working with a giant cosmic jigsaw puzzle, and some of the pieces are still missing. Maybe some of the pieces don't even belong. But even without that absolute proof, these stories persist. Why do you think these alien race narratives are so enduring? Why do they captivate us so much?
It's a great question, and I think it goes back to something fundamental about human nature. Our curiosity, our desire to understand our place in the universe. We've been gazing up at the stars for millennia, wondering if we're alone. And these alien race stories, whether they're rooted in reality or pure imagination, they give us a glimpse into what might be out there, a chance to explore the infinite possibilities that exist beyond our world.
It's like we're projecting our own hopes and fears onto a cosmic canvas. We imagine these benevolent beings guiding us toward enlightenment, but we also fear these manipulative forces seeking to control us. It's this fascinating duality, this push and pull between wonder and anxiety.
Absolutely. And even if we never find that definitive proof, the very act of contemplating these possibilities, of having these discussions, it can be incredibly enriching. It pushes us to think critically, to question our assumptions, to broaden our understanding of what it means to be human in a potentially vast and diverse universe.
It's like we're using these alien race stories as a mirror to reflect on ourselves, to explore the depths of human consciousness, both the good and the bad. But let's be honest, even if some of these accounts are embellished or fabricated, they're still entertaining. It's like a cosmic soap opera unfolding across the galaxy.
There's definitely an entertainment factor, that sense of wonder and excitement that comes from exploring the unknown. And let's not forget the cultural impact. These alien race narratives have inspired countless books, movies, TV shows, video games. They've seeped into our collective consciousness and sparked our imaginations in a way that few other topics can.
It's true. They've become part of our cultural DNA, shaping how we view the universe and our place in it. But even with all the entertainment and cultural influence, we have to circle back to critical thinking, right? We can't just blindly accept every claim or video that comes our way.
Couldn't agree more. We need to be discerning consumers of information. Especially in this age of misinformation and digital manipulation, question sources, consider alternative explanations, and be wary of confirmation bias, that tendency to seek out information that just reinforces what we already believe.
It's like a cosmic game of fact or fiction, and we need to be smart players. But even with that healthy skepticism, I think it's important to hold on to that sense of wonder, that childlike curiosity that makes us look up at the stars and dream of what might be out there.
Absolutely. Whether these alien races are real or imagined, the very act of exploring these concepts, of pondering the mysteries of the universe, can be a truly profound and enriching experience.
Well said. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of alien races, I have one last question for you, and for everyone listening out there. If you could meet one alien race, which one would it be and why?
Oh, that's a tough one. So many fascinating possibilities. But if I had to choose, I'd probably go with the Arcturians. Their alleged wisdom, their focus on spiritual growth and healing, it's something I find incredibly appealing.
The Arcturians, great choice. They sound like they'd throw a pretty amazing intergalactic dinner party. Me, I'm kind of leaning towards the Nordics. They seem peaceful, wise, and maybe they could give us some pointers on how to create a more harmonious world so that we could all use a little bit of right now.
Maybe they could. And who knows, maybe someday these encounters won't just be stories and speculation. Maybe we'll finally get that undeniable proof, that moment of cosmic contact that changes everything.
Until then, we'll keep looking up, keep exploring, and keep those minds open to the infinite possibilities of the universe. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. It's been an incredible journey.
UFO alien disclosure. UFO alien disclosure. UFO alien disclosure. UFO alien disclosure. Let's go.